Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. If you guys like me, please leave a 5-star review. I would love it. And I would love it if you shared the podcast. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being here for the first time. Today, we are going to talk about the step-up in basis that the Biden administration wants to get rid of in our taxes. And so we're going to talk about a little bit of government control. We're going to talk about a little bit of tax changes and how that's going to affect everybody. But before we begin that, I really want to just talk about what that means to have a step up in basis, because a lot of people do not understand that. If you inherit stocks, if you inherit land, if you inherit investment properties, whoever you inherited them from paid X amount. So let's say that we have land and we have paid $1,000 an acre. Now it is worth $10,000 an acre. That means we have a $9,000 an acre profit. If we have a property that we have purchased for $100,000 and it's now worth $1 million, now we have a $900,000 profit. When we inherit that upon the death of the owner, when we inherit that, we get what is called a step up in basis. The government has always said, for over 100 years now, the government has said, you are able to say that you now purchased it at $1 million, or your land is now worth $10,000 an acre. You don't have to pay the capital gains tax on the profit because you are a new generation. You're going to get it at a step up in basis. So the government, over 100 years ago, apparently, I read this in a Forbes article, that the government said, we're going to allow you to do this, and basically we're going to kick the can down the road. Right? So when we inherit things, we can get them at a step-up basis. Well, Biden wants to get rid of that step-up basis. And he is proposing that upon inheritance, you now have to pay the taxes on what you are inheriting. The step-up basis is going to go away. So people are furious about this. And I have sat back and I have not really reacted to it, which is kind of odd with all this German passion that I have. But I have not really reacted to this, thinking, well, is it really their fault that they're taking it away? Because they gave it to us. We've become accustomed to this. So can we even really be upset about it? I don't think that we can. We allowed them to give us this incentive years and decades ago, right? Over 100 years ago. We allowed them to do this as an incentive. Well, guess what? The government is now controlling us. So the government can then come in and say, but we're going to take it away. Because we need extra money, because we keep printing money and keep paying people to stay at home. And we, won't allow businesses to open in some states. And so we are just going to keep printing money, but we need to have extra money. We have all this national debt now. Well, this might be a really good way to get that. So let's take away the step-up basis. So everybody's furious. Do we have a right to be furious? When we gave them the right 100 years ago, we've taken that incentive for 100 years and we just assumed that they're going to do what's right? Really? They're saying, oh, well, this is a tax on the wealthy, right? Well, we're going to tax the wealthy. Well, who's inheriting these properties? The middle class, not the wealthy. The people that are wealthy are dying. And then the middle class people would inherit it and they would perhaps become wealthy. But now they're going to end up selling the land to pay the taxes. They're going to end up selling the property to pay the taxes. They're going to end up selling the stocks or bonds or whatever it is that they're inheriting to pay the taxes. The middle class are the ones that are going to get hit with all these taxes, the next generation, because the current generation has not planned on how people inheriting the next generation are going to pay these taxes. They've just assumed that the government is always going to give us this can to kick to the next generation. People, Nelson talked about this in the book. In his book, Becoming Your Own Banker, he talks about this. He said it all the time while he was alive. If the government gives you an incentive and makes a rule, they now can change the rules. And that's exactly what's happening. The government is giving us incentives to stay home and not work. Do you think maybe that they're getting their claws in just a little bit so that they can control us? That's what I think. You're either going to love me here or you're going to hate me here, and I might get hate mail, I might get love mail. Send either. It doesn't matter. If you don't like what I'm saying, I really don't care. Feel free to email me. If you can't see what's happening, you are not looking. And if you are playing victim because somebody is going to pass away and you're going to have to pay taxes on land, on property, on investment income, if you are playing victim, it is not my problem. Figure out how we are going to get around this and be a problem solver rather than a victim. Can we do some sort of a trust? I have a very good friend that is a trust officer. She's like, I don't even know what trusts are going to be protected, right? But are we buying life insurance so that that death benefit can be used to pay the taxes? I mean, ideally, that's not what we want to use it for, but it's a way around it. At least we don't have to get rid of the land. At least we don't have to get rid of the investment. At least we don't have to get rid of the rental properties or investment properties or whatever it is. But nobody is selling anything today. Nobody is giving anything away for inheritance today. They don't want to have to do it while they're alive because they're going to have to pay capital gains. And Biden is saying, well, you know what? I'm getting it anyway. You're either going to do it while you're alive or you're going to give it away as soon as you die. I'm getting those taxes. And if we're not preparing for it, everything we've built is gone. So many people are ticked off about this, and I'm ticked off because nobody is figuring out how to get around it. Come on, people. We do not need to have this victim mentality that the government is taking something away from us. They're just taking back what they gave us, which we shouldn't have took to begin with. It's the same thing with 401ks. It's the same thing with IRAs. They give us a tax incentive today. We kick the tax can down the road, and then we pay taxes at retirement, and then we whine and complain at retirement that we're in a high tax bracket and we have to pay all these taxes. But we took the incentive when we were 20, 30, 40 years old. So we're either going to pay them now or we're going to pay them later. It's the exact same thing with this step up in basis. Somebody's going to pay it, and the government can change those rules. Yes, it sucks. Let's figure out how to get around it, and then let's figure out how not to be under government control. Can we pass it along in different generations? I talk about this a lot when I talk about inheritance, that if we have a younger generation, why don't we sell them the land? Why don't we sell them the investment property? Why don't we sell them the business before we pass away? And do it at a higher interest rate and a lower principal so we don't have so many capital gains to pay. Interest expenses are deductible. Interest income is not taxed at the same rate. So why don't we pass it off while we're alive? And then we don't have to worry about the government changing rules on us later. And I propose this to a lot of my clients that are maybe buying mom and dad out or maybe buying a neighbor out or whatever. And then their next question to me is, but Mary Jo, if we do that, then I'm going to have issues with taxes because I'm going to sell it for more. Well, why wouldn't you sell it the same way and drive down the cost basis and charge more interest? If you understand what we're doing, you're just going to do it for the same people that you sell it to, be your kids or some stranger that wants to buy it, right? If we all keep doing that, are we going to be in a better position? Because if the government does come in and change the rules, it's not going to apply to us. We are going to have to pay taxes. Guess what? The government's going to get their money one way or another. They are not going to be nice and be like, oh, it's okay. We just keep printing money. We'll take care of ourselves. The government doesn't take care of themselves. We take care of them, and then they spend our money. They don't do anything to create money. They take money. They don't create income. So many people don't understand that either. They don't do anything to create income. They take it from us, and then they spend it foolishly, or they redistribute it to people who don't want to even work. Oh my goodness gracious. The amount of people locally that are looking for employees and they can't find them is insane. I've talked to people in the South that have said that even the immigrants are saying, you know what, we're going to go sign up for this income too now. And we don't want to work. Even they're becoming lazy and saying, well, you know what? If that lazy white guy can take advantage of the system, so can I. If we or anyone is going to take advantage of any government system, you are being controlled by the government. And that is all that this step up in basis is. They've just been very good for over 100 years to let us become very accustomed to it. Now, the moral of the story, instead of being the victim, figure out how we are going to get around it. And it might require some research. It might require talking to an attorney. It might require some estate planning. And in that estate planning, better be some life insurance so that we are leaving some money to pay taxes and save what we've worked so hard to build. I don't care if that is your retirement. I don't care if that's a farm. I don't care if that's a business. I don't care if it's investment property. Whatever it is, you better be planning to protect it. Okay, folks, that's all I got today. We'll see. We'll see if I get any hate mail. We really just need to open our eyes and see what's going on. All right, if you have not read either one of my books, you should be doing that. You should be doing that. You can go to withoutthebank.com and you can grab any of my books. You can grab Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. I suggest getting the bundle and really get into what is the infinite banking concept? How can we utilize that in today's episode to get rid of government control and protect ourselves? And if you have questions, please let me know. If you are listening and you are a farmer, you can go to farmingwithoutthebank.com. You can grab any of the bundles on there as well and read them. Then when you're done reading them, please schedule your hour-and-a-half free consultation and see if this can work for you. I am not going to try to sell you anything. I hate salespeople. I really, really do. In fact, I am probably one of their worst nightmares. If you try to be all salesy on me, I just walk out the door or I have to say something because, that's how I am. But in an hour-and-a-half consultation, we're just going to see what you got going on. We're going to see if this works for you. If it does, great. If not, great. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, but it is really helpful to see what you are doing and how this will work with your numbers and your situation. So please go ahead, schedule that. If you've purchased the books, you get emails with links to my calendar. If not, check your spam. If it's not in your spam, feel free to call us and we're happy to help you schedule your appointment. If you need anything, you know where to find me, Mary Jo at withoutthebank.com. And until the next episode, you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.